Now we need to talk, because the internet is in absolute shambles over Nelly and Ashanti's latest reality show moment, and this one ain't cute. So picture this. You're watching their new show on Peacock, We Belong Together, thinking it's all love and baby bliss. Then boom, Nelly looks dead at Ashanti and says he's not changing diapers. Although we know Nelly loves to play cool and laid back, the way he said it, bold, disrespectful. Straight up, that's your job, not mine energy. Fans were watching with their mouths wide open, like, did this man just say that on national TV? And yeah, he did.
I'ma say this, Ashanti settled for Nelly. She settled for Nelly because there is absolutely no way that she, Nelly, her mama, or whoever else is gonna sit there and convince me that sis is actually happy being with him, because you're not in a real marriage, or it seems like a real cohesive partnership where both of y'all are doing work in the relationship. In fact, he barely participates in the relationship. He already ran down the rules and explained to her that when she have that baby, I'm not getting up in the middle of the night. I'm not changing Pampers or anything. This is supposed to be your wife. This is her first child. You ain't new to this. She is. And you can't support your wife during postpartum. Make sure she's well rested and getting her rest, because the baby's already going to be attached to her. She's breastfeeding. And you can't get up to check on your child or to change diapers? You could tell that she was bothered in her response when she was like, I just think that's like kind of fucking, you could tell she probably wanted to cuss him out. I think that's kind of whack that you could just sit there and sleep through a crying child and not want to get up and get your own son. That's what she should have said. Nelly is a real piece of work. And it's like the audacity, because this girl settled for you. And I feel like in a way, it was because of what people were saying that made her say, well, I'm spinning the block. He's familiar. He's a familiar place. So I'm going to just land here, right? Because y'all was talking about her being in her 40s, living her best life and being child free. Like that was failures for her as a woman. Now it makes all the sense when her sister had put out that like cryptic message about how, I guess, you know, the pressures of societal norms and like trying to fit into society with a husband and a wife and that cryptic message her sister put out makes sense now, because now you get to see that this relationship is a mess, and I don't think they're going to make it. This is not going to be an everlasting marriage, because Nelly is about to run that girl into the ground. When I tell y'all, give it a year or two, and Ashanti is going to be looking haggard, because sis already look tired and depleted right now. Then the episode about the inauguration, and you get her mother sitting there talking about how her father was heavy in the civil rights movement and how he got back home to their town and was doing all this work. And it was like he just disregarded all that shit and said, fuck it, I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to do it. And you could tell that Ashanti really didn't want to, and she was like, well, you know, it's different from being a girlfriend. I'm a wife now. And as a wife, I would have looked at my husband and said, you must be outside your motherfucking mind if you think you about to get up there and do that motherfucking racist ass inauguration. Bending to social norms and constructs such as needing to be married, needing to be validated by a man so badly is going to be the death of so many of us. Y'all know that challenge that was just recently going around. It's like every time I think about being in a relationship, I'm reminded of how I looked my last relationship. That's going to be Ashanti. That we are seeing the transformation, y'all. That's going to be, this man is going to drain sis out of all her fucking energy. When we look at how Ashanti was prior to Nelly, badass baddie, body was T. Living her best life. Every birthday she said, I spent on an island. My birthdays, I was on an island every birthday. To now, barely making it. Barely being able to get up and get out of bed. Barely wanting to go and do a performance. Just looking tired and ran down. She is in a marriage all by herself. She's married. He isn't. Ashanti is married. Ashanti is married. Nelly is not. She need to divorce that man. Ashanti, please, divorce that man while you can. Get out now.
He said, I'll give you the world, I just ain't changing no diaper. And he was serious too, not a joke in sight. Meanwhile, Ashanti was sitting there like the real MVP, calm, collected, giving this ain't new to me vibes, but you could tell she was tight on the inside. Like sis didn't even blink, but baby, her soul blinked hard. The girl just had your baby. She's doing all the late night feedings, the sanitizing, the gentle parenting, the boiling water like it's 1995, and you telling her changing a diaper is above your pay grade? Sir. You see, people were already side-eyeing this relationship the minute they went public again, but this just gave folks the fuel they needed to say, Ashanti girl, blink twice if you need help. Also, let's be for real. Nelly is not some new dad in his 20s. He's 50. And instead of saying, let me help make this easier for you, he's like, I got you a nanny, you're welcome. Sir, what? Not you trying to outsource fatherhood. That baby didn't hire you to be the CEO of Vibes. Be a dad. Even though some of his fans are out here defending him, like, well, at least he's being honest, or not every man is hands-on, most people are not buying it. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, everybody had something to say. It's giving married single mom, and that's the last thing Ashanti deserves, after waiting 2 decades to finally settle down and start her family. Nevertheless, some folks are still holding out hope that maybe this was just editing or for TV, but others are saying, nah, this is his real energy. And honestly, we've seen this before. The man gets real quiet when it's time to do the work, but loud and flashy when it's time for the photo ops. A whole parade for the pregnancy, but nowhere to be found when the baby's crying at 3 a.m.? Truth is, this hit hard for a lot of women watching, especially Black women who've had to carry the full emotional and physical load of parenting while still smiling, slaying, and keeping it all together. Watching Ashanti, a literal queen, tiptoe around her man's ego while raising a newborn, it struck a nerve. At the same time, people are already whispering about divorce. Like, loud whispering. She needs to leave him. This man is a liability. She waited all these years just to become a full-time mom and therapist? One fan even tweeted, Ashanti waited 20 years just to end up being a baby mama with benefits. Whew. As it turns out, Nelly did give Ashanti a heads up before they had the baby. On the show, he said he told her he wasn't doing the baby stage and that he'd just throw money at the problem instead. He even joked, but not really, about hiring as many nannies as possible. But like, sir, parenting is not Uber Eats. You can't just cash app your way out of responsibility.
That writes all my own records, you know what I'm saying? Written Entertainment. I have my own record label called Written Entertainment. And I feel like that's why we have such a bond and such a connection, right? Because like, I write about real life shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like at the end of the day, we all go through the same shit anyway, right? So I gotta ask y'all a question. Is there anybody out there that's ever been in any kind of like relationship or situationship where you feel like you're giving so much of your heart, your soul, your time, your mind, your money, right? And it's like, you give up your good. And your good is great. And it's like you're just steady trying to be the person that they love, but they stay on this bullshit. It's like sometimes you just want to get up in their face and be like, stop